Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. Today's video we have a new pick a card reading all about the topic of how other people see you, how they perceive you, and what they think about you. And we're going to try to get as much information as possible for you. So if you're curious about this topic, you clicked on the right video. And if you're new here, I'm going to give you a quick little explanation about how this works. So I read the tarot cards, and as you can see, we have 5 different groups in front of me. You are going to take all the time that you need. You can even pause the video if you need more time to find out which pile stands out to you the most, which one you are the most drawn to or called towards, because that's going to be your intuition speaking to you, and your intuition knows exactly which group has the most relevant and accurate information for you. So as you look at these cards and find out which one you are the most called towards. A practice that I like to do is to close my eyes, and as soon as I open them, what is the pile that my eyes just dart towards first without me even thinking about it? Or you can even close your eyes and wait for a number between 1 and 5 to come to your head, and the first number that pops up without you even thinking about it, that's also your intuition speaking to you. So those are a couple little tricks just in case you are having some trouble finding a group. But most of the time, what I notice is when I watch these types of videos is that when I click on it, immediately there's just going to be a pile that sticks out, and I don't even know why, but it's just calling towards me. And then once that happens for you, once you know which group is meant for you, there might even be multiple that you're drawn towards, and that just means that there's multiple piles that have relevant information for you. But once you're done choosing, there's going to be timestamps linked down below in the comment box as well as the description box, so that you can skip right ahead to your personal prediction all about the topic of what people think about you, how they see you, and what their perception of you is. So that is today's video. I'm super excited to get into it. If you are curious what these crystals are, over here on group number 1, we have some Mookaite Jasper. So if you're drawn to that one, that's going to be your pile. Group number 2, we have some Angel Aura Quartz. Group number 3, we have some Rose Quartz. Group number 4, we have some Chrysophrase. And then group number 5, we have some Peacock Ore. So again, take all the time that you need, pause the video if you would like, in order to find the pile that you are the most drawn towards, and then I will see you in your personal reading. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into today's video. All right, so my group number 1s, if you were drawn to this pile, this is going to reveal exactly how people see you, what they think about you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so my group number 1s, we have Tiger and Golden Egg as your first 2 cards. One thing I can tell you right now is that when people meet you, for one, they get intimidated by you. The Tiger card indicates that you have a very powerful type of strong energy, and you might have these really powerful eyes too, or this sort of appearance about you that's very like sharp, intimidating, but also beautiful. People see you as somebody who's quite beautiful and confident. You have this type of confidence about you. And I think people really, they admire you. And when they see you, you sort of light up a room. You have this radiance about you that lights up a room. People get really drawn to you, but at the same time as being drawn to you, they're also a little bit intimidated by you, because you do have this type of confidence and this sort of like body language about you that shows that you know your worth, and that you also like have boundaries and you uphold those boundaries, and you're not afraid to say things. You know, like if somebody crosses the line, you're not afraid to say no. You're not afraid to tell somebody like I'm not vibing with this, or don't say that to me. Like, you're not afraid to say those things. People can't really walk all over you. And I think you've been through different things in your life where maybe you've really had to learn how to uphold boundaries. Maybe you've had to really learn how to be honest. And because you've learned those things, people now see that in you. They see it in your body language. They see that they cannot cross boundaries, and people don't even want to, because they sort of see someone who has become quite successful. And the Golden Egg card indicates that when people first meet you, they might also see you as somebody who's quite successful and has a high status. People see you as a high status type of person. And they might also think that you got like the lucky end of the stick. They also might see you as like the golden child, or somebody who has like the golden status, somebody who's a leader, somebody who's successful. They see that in you, and that also might be intimidating to a lot of people, because a lot of people might think like, oh, I'm not worthy, or I'm not on your level. And so you might notice that sometimes people don't approach you, but maybe they look at you a lot. Maybe you get a lot of people looking at you when you walk into a room or when you're walking down the street. A lot of people turn their heads, they notice you, a lot of people see you, but they might also be sort of afraid to approach you a lot of the times because they see you as somebody who's, again, really successful and at the top of the ladder, at the top of the whatever that expression is. You know, people see you as that. And, you know, maybe you've had to work really hard for your success. Maybe you've had to work really hard for what you have and all of that. And people don't really see that right away. They just see somebody who is successful. And again, that's like intimidating a lot of the times. So when people first meet you, that is how they see you. I'm also getting that your eyes are very striking. People are very like, whoa, when they see your eyes, when they see your face, your appearance. I think that you have a very unique look about you, and they're really drawn to that. Like, you really turn heads when you walk into a room, and maybe you put a lot of effort into, you know, your appearance. Maybe you like to get ready, put yourself together. And that also really draws people in, and it gives you that sort of golden aura about you. It gives you that high status sort of appearance, because I think that you're somebody who really, you know, you take care of yourself, and other people notice that. But they might also be intimidated by that because you're not afraid to, like, you know, look your best or all of that. And you do look your best. I think even when you don't try, you still look really, really good. And other people, it's like, they're like, whoa, who's that? Who's that just walked into the room? So whether you realize that or not, that is the impression that you give people right off the bat. But they might find you a little bit unapproachable, because if you think about the tiger energy, it does have a slight unapproachableness about it, right? You don't just want to go walk up to a tiger, you know, it's a little bit intimidating. It's a little bit like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to get. And you know, people, when they sort of have that sort of high status look that's very put together, there is something sort of intimidating about it, right? And I do feel like other people, they get a little bit intimidated by you because you do have that sort of high status look about you. You have that successful, sort of confident, radiant body language where people are like, whoa, like that is someone who is maybe higher than me. Like, people get intimidated because they see you as sort of higher than them, or, you know, they see you as somebody who's not to be messed with. You're not just somebody who's a pushover. Like, you have that tiger energy that comes through. So like, people, when they meet you, they feel that, right? So you might notice that some people, they don't come up to you right away, but you might notice that you get a lot of looks, right? So we also have the Priestess card, and then we also have the Enchanter card. So the Enchanter card, you're very enchanting to other people. People, like, you turn heads when you walk into a room. And it's interesting that we also have a lot of fire energy and a lot of red colors. So the Tiger card is connected to the element of fire. And then we also have the Priestess and the Enchanter, who are both wearing red. Whenever we have the color red, it's a power color. And it indicates somebody who, again, gets a lot of attention. So people, like, you draw in people's attention. Whenever you walk into a room, you light up a room, you have a very radiant aura, a very radiant energy about you. And I do think people also really admire how you look. You have this sort of look about you where other people are like, ooh, how do they dress like that? Or how do they look like that? How did they achieve that, right? And you might get a lot of people that ask you about those things. They're like, how did you become successful? Or how do you dress so nicely? Or how do you look the way that you do? How do I get my skin and my hair and my body to look like you? You might get people asking that because they're genuinely curious, because I think that a lot of people admire you. They really admire you. And they might put you on a bit of a pedestal as well. And they might also see you as somebody who's like, how do I put this? Somebody who's not reachable. they might see you as somebody who's like out of reach for them. Like they might see you as like, oh, I'll never be able to get that person, or I'll never be able to be friends with them. They're like better than me. People kind of see you that way. Not saying that you are better than them, and I'm not saying that you think that you're better than other people, but other people, when they see you, they kind of think like, oh, they're too good for me, or they're out of my league. Like I think a lot of people think that when they see you, is like you're out of their league. Whether you feel that way or not, but other people kind of see you like that. And the red as well is very connected to the root chakra and very connected to success. So people see you as a very successful person. Like maybe you already have achieved a lot in your life, or maybe you have very big dreams, and people see you as somebody who is like a high achiever, and they see you as somebody who has a lot of courage and a lot of determination. And that again intimidates people, because I think that like if you make a promise or if you say something, people know that you're going to uphold that promise. And I feel like you're somebody who does uphold promises. And I also feel like you're somebody who, if somebody doesn't uphold a promise, all of a sudden you're just kind of like, okay, I'm not going to really trust that person anymore. I'm not going to give them my time or that value anymore, because I feel like you really know how to uphold boundaries, and you do not have time to play games. Like you do not have time to play games. And that's a great quality about you, and people notice that. People notice that in you. And maybe you're somebody who had to learn, like maybe you've had to learn that through your life, because maybe you used to have people that used to take advantage of you or walk all over you or things like that. But I feel like you've really learned from that, if so. And now you're at this place where you're like, okay, if you can't meet me with the respect, with the, upholding promises or things like that, then you don't have a place in my life. Like that's your type of energy now. And I feel like you really uphold that, and people see that in you. They also see you as number one. We have this priestess card, which is number one. This is also group number one. So people see you as a leader. They see you as somebody who is number one at what they do. And you might get a lot of people again asking you questions, because maybe they're wondering, how do I be like you? How do I get to that level of success or achievement? And I really think you owe it to yourself to really see your worth. If you ever deny your worth, or if you ever feel unsuccessful, or if you ever feel behind in life, just realize that other people don't see you that way. Other people, when they see you, they're like, oh my gosh, look what that person has done. Look at how far they've come in life. Like, as they get to know you and see all that you've achieved, they really see like, wow, like how do I also do that? Although when people first meet you, they might just think like, oh, that person got lucky, or maybe they were given that. That's usually people's first assumptions when they see somebody who's successful. They tend to assume like, oh, that was just handed to them, that was just given to them, they got lucky. As they get to know you, they're like, whoa, there's a lot of power that you have. You have a lot of energy, and you have a lot of determination. You have a lot of skill. And people are like, whoa, like I really think that you blow people away, whether you realize that or not. And I do feel like most people, they don't even say what they really truly think of you. And the reason why they don't say it is because maybe they already see you as somebody who is aware of that. Because you have this sort of confidence about you that they're like, why would I even say that? They already know that, right? So they might not want to, or feel like, or even get inspired to say that, because they already see you as somebody who just lives it, breathes it, is it, right? So maybe they find it pointless to remind you about it. At the same time, people also might be very intimidated by you to the point where they don't know how to compliment you right. They don't know how to really say what it is that they truly think. So yeah, anyway, people see you this way, whether they tell you that or not. They see you as a leader, they see you as successful, and they really look up to you. And the friends that you have in your life, they're really proud of you, and they might talk about you a lot. Like they might brag about you by saying like, oh, I have this friend who is this and does this, and they're so cool and blah, blah, blah. Like I feel like people really, they're proud to be friends with you, or they're proud to know you, right? So yeah, just so you know, the people who are close to you and your friends, they're quite proud of you. So let's go ahead and dive into some more cards here. So our tarot cards, we have the Emperor coming up. Not even surprised. So the Emperor indicates somebody who is a leader, somebody who's successful, somebody who's confident, somebody who usually has a lot of material success. So you might be somebody who has like achieved a lot in their life so far. Maybe you have really big dreams and maybe you're actually creating that type of progress, or maybe you've actually achieved quite a lot of those big dreams that you have. And other people see that and they really look up to you. Also, what they think about you, they think that you are someone who, again, is at the top of their game. They see you as somebody who's really put together, who's really determined, who's a high achiever. Like high achiever keeps coming to my head. They see you as a high achiever. Again, some people might perceive it as luck, especially if they don't know you well enough. They might perceive this just as you got lucky. And some people might be quite jealous of that. I'm getting this feeling like the people who don't like you and the people who don't know you well enough might be jealous. Although there is a lot of people, I'd say most people that you meet, they admire you, but they also see you as a little bit unapproachable. Not because they think that you're mean, although some people might have that first impression. You know, when you see somebody who's like such high status and you don't want to approach them because you're like, oh my God, they might be mean or whatever. Like some people might have that first impression of you, but I would say most people, they just really admire you. Like I'd really say most people, they really admire you. Some people might be jealous of you. And some people might see you as slightly unapproachable because you have that very like high status, very like powerful presence. There's a powerful presence about you, especially with the Emperor coming up as well. There's a very powerful energy that you have, whether you realize that or not. And it all comes from this like sort of confident body language that you have. Like I feel like you're very sure of yourself at this point in your life. You're also very proud of yourself. You know how to get what you want, and you also know what it is you want and don't want in life. You're very clear on those things, and you also know what your values are, what you're willing to stand for, and what you're willing to not stand for. And all of those things give you this very confident aura about you, and other people are like, whoa, like wow, that's like intimidating. It's also very admirable. And so many people, they're quite enchanted. Like you enchant people. When you walk into a room, heads turn and they focus on you. Whether you try to be the center of attention or not, you just kind of automatically are. So yeah, that's coming through. We also have the 5 of Swords. This is letting me know that some people can be a little bit jealous of you, and some people might try to, like, I feel like you've had haters in your life before. You've had people that start rumors. They try to take your success away, but it comes from a place of them being intimidated by it. People who are also confident in themselves have no desire at all to ever tear somebody else down. Because once you're already confident in yourself, like there's no need to tear anybody down. No matter who they are, no matter what they're doing, there's just no need for it because you're just in your own lane, living your own life. But the people who have ever started rumors about you before, or who have ever said negative things about you, those people have only done it from a place of jealousy and a place of fear that you are taking like the spotlight away from them. The 5 of Swords indicates that people feel like, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying that this is a few people in your life that have felt threatened by you. They felt scared that you're going to take something away from them because you're so successful and because you're getting a lot of attention and because you're getting a lot of admiration. They feel like threatened by that. They feel like it's they almost feel like what's the word I'm looking for? They feel scared that it's going to take attention away from them, or they feel like they will never be able to get that type of success or that type of admiration. So they feel like they need to sort of take it away from you in order to feel more comfortable in their own skin. So I just wanted to explain that. And I don't feel like it's a lot of people. I really feel like it's a very minor amount of people. But when they have caused rumors or other things like that, it maybe felt really big or maybe felt really scary to go through that. But Spirit's coming through right now just saying that it all comes from a place of them just feeling threatened by your success or your aura and the type of like confidence that you exude. And, you know, some people have maybe not liked that too much. But Spirit also wants to say to have compassion for those people because, you know, they were just scared. They were acting from a place of fear, but it truly has nothing to do with you at the end of the day, because you know, anybody who does that also, it comes from a place of jealousy because they admire you in such a way where they feel like they could never achieve what you have. And so they feel threatened by that, right? So again, just random side note, Spirit wanted to say that. It's been few and far between that has ever like occurred. Most people, again, just feel in total admiration of you. Anyway, we also have Ace of Swords coming through. Also, when people meet you, they think you're a very good communicator. They think that you know exactly what to say, when to say it. People also love talking to you. I think when people want advice or they want to vent about something or they want to ask a question, you're one of the first people that comes to their mind because they know that you're going to give it to them straight. Sorry, my computer made a noise, but they know that you're going to give it to them straight. They know that you don't just BS. They know that you don't sugarcoat things, but they also know that you have a way of speaking that's also very respectful. It's honest, it's direct, but also compassionate, right? And people really enjoy talking to you because of that, because they know that you're honest. They know that you don't just fluff around things, and they really enjoy that about you. So that's also another impression that you give, is the fact that you are honest and that you also have this clarity about you. You have this clarity when you speak, and you have this clarity of mind where you know what it is you want and you know what it is you don't want. And you're also really good at laying out rules when you meet people, not necessarily rules, but boundaries, right? And you uphold boundaries and people respect that. And when they meet you, you get a lot of people that respect you because of the way you speak, because of the way you think, and the way that you hold yourself. People really respect you. And you also have this way of seeing the world. People really like hearing your perspective on things. They really enjoy that. You're also a visionary, and they enjoy hearing what you like to visualize, the plans that you have, because I think you offer this inspiration to other people when you speak. And your perspective of the world, people really like hearing your perspective because it really helps people. And you might notice people come to you really often for like life advice, career advice, love, relationship advice, because they see that you've created a lot of success in your life, and they really, again, respect the way that you think. We also have the Seven of Swords being reversed. Ooh, you know what? Some people who used to be on this side of the spectrum, who used to maybe be jealous of you, it eventually turns to this admiration that they're like, you know what? I actually just really admire that person. And I really, I think that you have this sort of way about you where you are really compassionate, even when people are negative, even when people are talking bad. You have this way of upholding yourself to the point where people, they're like, I shouldn't have said that about them. That was like really mean of me. That was really rude of me. I shouldn't have done that. And like, you might notice that people eventually always apologize to you because of the way that you handle certain situations and the way that you handle yourself. It's very respectful. I see that you're also really honest. And Seven of Swords, when it's reversed, also indicates that you don't tiptoe around things. You don't try to, like, you're not sneaky. It's like you're very, you're more open and honest about your intentions and, you know, your expectations, and people don't feel like they have to tiptoe around you once they get to know you. It's because they're like, oh, you're just very open, honest, and direct with what your expectations are, what your boundaries are. And then, you know, yeah, people just feel like, okay, I'm not going to mess with this person. This person's just very direct. They know what they want, and they don't take BS, really. So that's coming through as well. We also have the Queen of Wands. Oh, I also see that people really respect that you are someone who is able to apologize or admit when they're wrong. You have this ability to admit when you're wrong, and people really respect that about you. They're like, whoa, that's different. Most people don't do that, or most people maybe beat around the bush or make excuses for why they did things. I feel like you're somebody who has learned from that, and you have this awareness where you're like, I'm not just gonna make excuses. Like, if I was wrong about something, I want to apologize for it, you know, and people really respect that about you. Also, Queen of Wands, radiance, confidence, people look up to you. I think you also have this beauty. Okay. Whether you realize this or not, there's a lot of fire energy happening over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have like a fire sun sign, moon sign, or rising sign. I would not be surprised because there's a lot of fiery energy going on here. Even if you don't, it's still relevant. But this card indicates that people are very attracted to you. And I'm also feeling that even people who, you know, are like maybe not sexually attracted to you, like even like men and women both are just very like attracted to you. They're like, oh, how do you look like that? Or I want to look like that. I feel like you're a walking inspiration for people. And also, on top of that, people are also very attracted to you in, you know, all levels of the sense. But you know, like, you have this energy about you that's very inspiring, and people want to get to know you. I almost feel like even people who want you just as a friend, they like really want you as a friend, because they're like looking at you and thinking, oh my gosh, I want her or him as a friend because like I want to be like them. I want to, you know, get to know that person more, because I think, again, people, they really admire you in such a way where they want to be like you. So let's go ahead and dive into some more cards here for you and get some more information all about how people perceive you, what they think about you. Let's see. I also think that you are nicer than people first think that you're gonna be. Like, when people first meet you, they might think like, oh, they're intimidating and all of that. But once they get to know you, they're like, wait a second, they're like way more nice and humble than I thought. But at the same time, you still have this power and this confidence in your body language, in your energy, and people naturally really respect that. Withdraw is another card that we have. We also have manifest. And then we also have the universe. Ooh. Another perception that people have of you is that you always get what you want. You have this way of getting what you want and getting the outcome that you want, or achieving the things that you want to achieve. But the thing is, the secret is not that the universe is just, you know, like handing all of this to you. It's also the fact that you know how to pull the strings. You know how to take action. You know how to have discipline and willpower with your goals in order to manifest them, in order to make them happen. And when people learn that from you, I feel like people are very curious, like, how do I also do that? How do I have that type of discipline? How do I take that type of action? And yeah, I'm getting a lot of this, like, people at first see it a lot as luck, maybe because you don't flaunt like, oh, I'm doing all this work, I'm putting all this work in. People almost just see it's like it just happens for you. And they want to also learn how to do that. I feel like that's one of the number one things that people are curious about when it comes to you, and they want to know that. Also, with withdraw, people see you as hard to get to. When people meet you, they're like, oh, that's like an unachievable person. I don't know if I'll ever be able to be friends with them. They're withdrawn. They're, not that you withdraw yourself, but the fact that people see like that you're not easy, right? You're not easy to get to. You're not easy to make contact with. And maybe you're also a rare person to show up at certain things. Like, maybe there's certain parties or events that always happen, but maybe you're somebody who is a rare sighting at those places. And people see you as that. It's like you're a rare gem, you're a rare sighting, and when people do see you, it's like they gotta shoot their shot to try to get to know you, otherwise they're probably never really gonna see you again because you're off doing whatever it is that you're doing. You're sort of like hard to attain, hard to get the attention of. I also think that you only give your attention and time to things that matter to you and things that feel like they're worth your time. And other than that, you're very withdrawn from other stuff. It's like you're not going to go waste your time on something, and people see that about you. And so they don't want to waste your time either, right? And with that being said, let's go ahead and get any last cards on here. These are all major arcana tarot cards, and they're just going to reveal more about you and your archetype and how people perceive you. So let's go ahead and see my group number ones. Any last cards about who you are, how people see you, and the archetype that you give off. Let's see, we have, are we even surprised that the Emperor is coming up again? I also feel like this card has something to say. We have Judgment. Okay. People feel when they first see you that you might be judgmental. Okay. And I'm not saying that in like, I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but you know, that's kind of like an impression that you give off because you have such a high status sort of appearance, and you have such a high status sort of energy about you that people almost feel like they're going to be judged, even though you might not even be judgmental at all. Like they see you as somebody, once they get to know you, they're like, hold on a second, this person's actually really nice and really humble. But when they first meet you, this is what they fear. They fear that you're going to be judgmental about them. They fear that they're not good enough or things like that. Also, the Emperor, again, they see you as very high status. They see you as very successful. I wouldn't be surprised if you are somebody who already has a very high status or has a lot of success in their life, or at least is very put together, right? And you turn heads because of that, and you stand out because of that. You are such a good leader. You are so good at, you know, just coming across as this sort of leadership or respect. Like people respect you right when they meet you because they're like, whoa, that's somebody like, whoa, who holds their own. They have that confidence. They have that power when they step into the room. The Emperor is also very powerful. You have a powerful aura. You have a powerful essence. And people are intimidated by that, which is why they feel like this Judgment card of like, oh my God, I don't know if I can approach them. I don't know. Sorry, my camera cut out there for a second, but that is what we have here. My group number one's all about how other people see you, their perception of you. They find you very beautiful, a bit intimidating to be honest, but it's because they just really look up to you. You're like, wow, and you turn heads. So that's what we have for you, all about how people perceive you, what they think about you, and all of that. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm sending you all so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group number twos, if you chose this pile, this is going to reveal exactly how other people see you, what they think about you, and all of that. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, my group twos, we have the unicorn and the fish coming through. If you have ever seen that YouTube video that talks about the unicorns, like it talks about like what, I think the video is called like what women see in men, or like the chart of like men or women, and there's like something called the unicorn. I forgot what this video is. Anyway, unicorns indicate somebody who is so rare that, you know, it's like hard to come by. When somebody calls you a unicorn, it's sort of like, how did you exist? You are everyone's fantasy of a person. So how other people see you, for one, is like you have this whole package where if people could draw up a picture of what the perfect person or partner or friend would be, like you fit into that category. And when people meet you, they're like, whoa, I want to be friends with them. I want to keep that friendship because this is such a rare type of individual, such a rare type of person. The fish indicates somebody who's very go with the flow. They're very fluid. They're really easygoing. So when people meet you, they're like, wow, this is somebody who isn't just gonna, you know, blow up over things or get jealous or show this other negative thing. They see you as somebody who's very kind, very sincere, very genuine as well, and honest, but also has this compassionate side. It's like you're the whole package. You're the whole package. And I also think people see you as somebody who's very beautiful. I think that people, when they see you, you have this fluidity about you, and the way that you move as well is very like calming and peaceful. And I think when people are around you, they just feel calm and peaceful and happy naturally. I think you have this optimism, this way of looking at the world, this perspective that people are like, wow. It's like they love talking to you, because when they talk to you, you have a way of showing people the good sides of everything. You have a way of calming people down, of meeting them where they're at. I think you have a very special ability when it comes to communicating with people, making friends, knowing how to show up for somebody, knowing how to be there for them, and knowing exactly what it is that they need. Like you have this, I think that you're an empath for one. When I'm looking at this, I really think that you're an empath. You're so good at reading emotions. You are so good at reading people that it's really easy for you to make friends, to be honest. It's incredibly easy for you to make friends. You feel like you could get along with anyone. Whether you realize that or not, you actually easily get along with anybody. And anybody that you meet, you have this way about you. It's compassionate, it's open. Like you know how to open up to people, and you know how to get people to open up to you, because you're so welcoming, you're so friendly, and you're so easygoing, right? You're not super opinionated about things. Like if somebody comes to you and they start telling you like all these political things or all these other opinions that they have in the world, it's like you can understand why they have those opinions. You're so good at understanding people. But at the same time, if somebody comes and tells you the opposite thing, you're also very good at understanding that too. You're like, okay, I get that. Okay, I get that. It's like you're so easygoing, and you could have a conversation with anybody about anything. Truly. And I feel like that's why you're really good at making friends. So people see you as that unicorn friend, where they're able to come with you and talk to you about anything, because you are so easygoing. You're not just going to get mad because somebody brought up a topic that you don't agree with. You're just very fluid, very open, and not that you don't have any opinions. Like I do feel like you do have opinions, but you're also very okay with other people having their opinions. You know, you're not some like harsh critic where everyone needs to agree on all the same stuff. Like I feel like you're just so open. And I also see you as somebody who you're really humble, you're really down to earth, and people love that about you. Ooh, I feel like you're such a breath of fresh air, and when people meet you, they're literally like, this is such a rare gem. How do I keep this person in my life? Like, people love all that about you. We also have the card of musician, and then we also have the card of medium. Okay, yeah, you're a total empath. You might even have a spiritual side about you. Also with medium can indicate that you're really good at reading people. You're also really good at sensing energies. And musician, you're go with the flow, and you're also extremely creative, which also is why you're so good at talking to people about anything. And you're also really good at offering a perspective for anyone under any circumstance or any situation, because you're extremely creative. When somebody comes to you with a problem, it's almost like you have this magical ability to figure out exactly what they need to do to get out of the problem. You have this magical ability to see the big picture in things, and yeah, to tell people exactly what it is that they needed to hear. And it's so natural for you to be that way. It's so natural. You're so good at emotions. You are so good at empathy, reading people, pulling out information that people need to hear. It's like you're so good at just channeling that. I would not be surprised if you would also be an amazing channeler. If you know what channeling is, it's like this spiritual, or not, it doesn't have to be spiritual, I guess, but channeling is like when you're able to connect to higher levels of consciousness or other spirits even, and channel information, channel wisdom, things that maybe you didn't even read about or hear about before. Like that's what being a channeler is. And I feel like you'd also be very good at that, because I feel like you have a very deep spiritual connection. I feel like your crown chakra is very open, and you have that empathic ability to kind of read energy and read emotion. And that is a true gift. I wouldn't be surprised if when you were a kid, you were able to sense spirits around you, because we have this card coming through, and I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe even still have that ability to this day. So yeah, that's coming through as well. Maybe you're also really into music. I also feel like you can be extroverted if you want. but you're also kind of more of an introvert, but you can also be extroverted. I feel like you're kind of that unicorn where you can be super social in a social setting, but you can also be very withdrawn. And I feel like you do get recharged from kind of being introverted at times, but you also do get kind of charged and excited when you're having deep conversations with people. So I feel like you're kind of an ambivert. Ambivert is when you're in the middle of both of those, and people see you as that. They see you as somebody who is that incredibly creative, expressive type of person. They see you as artsy. I wouldn't be surprised if you're into some sort of artsy, creative thing, and people see that in you, and they're really curious about it. And people also see that you're very talented. You have particular talents, which I feel like are in a creative field, that when people meet you and people see that creativity, they're like, whoa, you take the spotlight when it comes to your creativity, that's for sure. Because I feel like your talent that you have in this creative field kind of outshines the average person. And when people meet you, I feel like it's like that's what they want to talk about. They want to know exactly how you did that. They want to see you in your creative element, because I feel like that's where you shine. You shine in your creative element. And people are really inspired by that. And they're really in awe by that. Maybe you're really good at playing an instrument. Maybe you're really good at art. Maybe you're really good at whatever it is that you're good at. People love seeing what you create. They love it. They want you to create more of it, because when people see it, they're like, whoa, look what this person created. This is so cool. Look at this. I wouldn't be surprised if you have friends or other people who meet you who show off your work and show off what you do, because it's so good. And Spirit wants me to really focus on that. Spirit's like, focus on it more, because that's probably, Spirit is emphasizing that this is the biggest thing that people talk about when they talk about you. They talk about how talented you are in this particular field, and it's a creative field. So again, it could be art, could be writing, could be music, whatever it is, but people talk about it and they like to show it off. I wouldn't be surprised if your parents show it off regularly about you, and they're like, oh, look what my kid just did, look what they just did now, look what they like. They like showing it off, and they like talking about it because it's so good, it's so rare, and you have such a unique quality about you. And I feel like this is one of your defining features about you, is this talent that you have, and people are really excited to talk about. Even your friends are like, oh my God, look at this friend that I have, look what they create, how cool is this? Like, people like to talk about that. Okay, we also have the Magician coming through, which is one of my favorite cards in tarot. It indicates somebody who's pretty much good at everything, and they know how to make stuff happen. And I feel like this is very connected to your talent energy that you have going on over here. You are a magician. You are very special and very unique when it comes to your creative outlet and your creative talent. You are a magician in that area of your life. Also with the Magician, they're able to kind of take something that they're thinking about and pull it into reality and make it something physical. You're a visionary, and people see that about you, and it's very eye-catching. It's like, whoa. Also, with the Magician, they're great manifestors. And even if you haven't manifested a whole lot yet in your life, or maybe you already have manifested quite a lot, people enjoy talking to you about that, and like, how did you do that? Or how did you gain that skill? How did you gain that talent? Where did that come from? How do I be like you? How do I uncover my talents? Like, people are very curious about that when it comes to you, because people also, they kind of want to be like you. They also want to have that special skill. And you clearly have mastered a special skill that people get very inspired by, okay? We also have Three of Pentacles. This card is indicating again that you kind of get along with anybody, and people really enjoy being around you because they just feel like you're going to understand them. They already feel like, I just get along with this person. They know that there's not going to be any drama or any other, negativity. They already know that. Like, I feel like people really trust you. They really, really trust you. They know that you keep your word, and that's one of their most special sort of connections to you. And one of the most special things about you is the fact that you keep your word. And I also see that you really enjoy helping people. People see you as somebody who's going to be there to help them. And you're really inspiring in that way. You give great advice, and also I think that you're really keen on helping the people that you love. And the people that you love, they see that and they're like, wow, that's so special to have you as a friend. And I feel like you have a lot of long-term friendships. The reason being is because you're, again, one of those unicorn people, one of those unicorn friends that when people meet you, they're like, I can never give that person up. They're like so easygoing, they're so nice, they're so helpful. They're just like the best kind of person. So people see that way. We also have Ace of Pentacles being reversed here. We also have the 7 of Cups. And then we also have the 10 of Cups. Ooh. So more about how people perceive you. I feel like you don't show off a lot, and people admire that about you. You're not a show off. And so when people first meet you, they might not even know all of your depth, all of your talents, and all of your success because you don't wear it on your sleeve. You're not here to just show it off. And then when people meet you, they're like, whoa, there's so much more going on underneath. You do this, you've created that, you've achieved this. Like, you don't flaunt it, but then people get to know you and they're like, whoa, there's so much more underneath there than what we were thinking. I also getting the fact that Spirit wants to come through. This is off topic, by the way, but Spirit wants to come through and say that the success you've reached so far is like minuscule compared to the amount of success that's ahead of you. Spirit wants to say that. Whatever you've achieved so far is minuscule in the big picture of what you're going to achieve in your life. And yeah, Spirit just wanted you to know that. Also, the 7 of Cups, you are very multifaceted and multi-talented. So I feel like you have a wide array of interests and also a wide array of things that you're good at. And that's also another thing that people, when they meet you, they're like, whoa, what? And they're also like, wait, I can talk to you about anything because you're interested in such a wide variety of things. And you're not just a one direction type of person. You're a multiple direction type of person. And that's also a thing that makes you very special. And that also, I think, is why you relate to so many people, is because that wide array of interests means that you can get along with like so many different people from different backgrounds, from different interests, from different life paths, because you have that wide array of interests. Also, the 10 of Cups, long-term friendships, people see you as a long-term type of person that they want to have in their life forever. 10 of Cups also indicates that people see you as very friendly. You're very friendly, you're very kind, you're very loving, compassionate. Like, they see you as like, this is someone special. Someone very, very special. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into some more cards for you, my group 2s. So we also have the Observer. Ooh, you have a lot of people always looking at you and asking about you, wondering, okay, like, how is so-and-so doing? What are they up to now? What have they done with their life? And people, I feel like you have a lot of people rooting for you and wanting you to find even more success. You have a lot of people like rooting for your success. I also feel like you have a lot of people who admire you, who ask about you, who maybe even stalk your social media if you're on social media at all, or at least they ask about you. And they're always wondering, how are you doing? What are you up to now? You might also have a lot of people that admire you and want to be where you are. So that's coming through there. Let's go ahead and get some more info. Group 2, let's see. So we also have the Weaver. You're really good at just getting stuff done, doing things. Anything that you do, people are like, whoa, look at that. That's so cool. Look what they just did. The Weaver also indicates that people want to be closer to you. They want to be closer to you. When they see you, they're like, wow, I want to know that person. I want to intertwine my path with them. Let's see what else we get. You're also really good at making things happen and keeping promises, which is something that people really admire about you. And then we also have get creative. Like I said, the creativity aspect of this is like the biggest focus of your reading. And that's the thing that people are very focused on when they meet you, is like your creative talent. that's like their biggest thing. People talk about that a lot to other people. Like if you ever come up in topic, or if people are talking about like music or whatever other thing that it is that you're good at, you come up and people are so excited to be like, oh, I know this person who does this and look what they've created, look what they've done. They're so excited to share that. So let's go ahead and get any last archetype cards for you. These are all major arcana tarot cards, and this is going to reveal any last major archetypes that people see you as. I'm also getting this message that if anybody ever bad talks you, most people are really like off-put about anybody talking bad about you. Your friends are there to really stand up for you, and you'll notice that your friends will never say anything bad about you because there truly is nothing bad to say about you. But let's say your friend was out with somebody who for some reason wanted to talk bad about you. That friend, I feel like, would so deeply stand up for you and also be so turned off by that other person who talks bad about you because they're just like, no, like you're wrong. Like you're totally wrong about that. I'm really getting that people are here to support you because you're really truly worthy of supporting. And anybody who doesn't is just misunderstanding you. That's something that I'm hearing right now. Anyway, we also have the High Priestess, which is somebody who's incredibly intuitive, incredibly in touch with their spiritual side, and deeply an empath. Also somebody who might be mysterious at first, like they're not a show-off. They don't flaunt everything that they have. They don't flaunt every skill, every success. They don't do that. They are slow to open up to other people, so other people see that you're a bit more mysterious. There's a mystery about you. And as people get to know you, that's where they get to know your level of achievement, your level of talent, your level of skill, and all of that. And it's a slow burn. Like, you're a bit more mysterious, but people also really respect that about you, and it also makes you very unique. And I feel like people are shocked as well when they find out how cool you are because you don't flaunt it right away. And then they're like, wait a second, why haven't you flaunted that? Why haven't you told me about that? You kind of shock people in that way, but it's also something that they also respect. So we also have the Wheel of Fortune, and then we also have the World card. So your other archetypes. People see you as like, wow, you could do anything. The type of skill that you have, people see that there's a lot of opportunity in front of you and there's a lot of things that you could do. They also see you as maybe lucky for having this type of skill, and that good things sort of happen to you. They might assume that. But that's, of course, before they get to know you and see that there's so much more to you. But they also see you as very like talented, successful, somebody who finishes what they set out to do, somebody who also keeps their promises. They see you as a very respectful person who's also very worldly, who knows a lot. Maybe you've traveled a lot, or maybe people even see you as a free sort of traveler who kind of just is okay with going in any direction, doing anything. They see you as a more of a free-spirited type of person. You also come across with that free-spirited, very openness and understanding nature. So people really enjoy that about you. So that is what we have here. My group number 2 is all about people's perception of you, what they think about you, how you come across, and all of that. So that is what we have here. I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. And until next time, bye. All right, my group number 3s, if you chose this pile, this is going to be a reading all about how other people see you, what they think about you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, my group 3s, here's what we have for you. Our first 2 cards are Crow and Elephant. When people first meet you, you have a mysterious aura and a mysterious energy. I also feel like with the Crow, you tend to be a little bit more like avoidant or shy. Especially when you don't know somebody. It's like you tend to be a little bit more withdrawn, a bit more mysterious, and maybe even slightly like closed off. And I'm getting this more shy energy from you. But when we have the Elephant, when people get to know you, you are very soft, kind, intelligent, wise, and you're also an incredibly, incredibly good listener. I also think you're very observant. Okay, so with the Crow and with the Elephant, you are super observant. And this also might play into like you're very I think that you're an empath, but also, again, very observant. Like you're always noticing your surroundings. You're always noticing other people's body language. You're very aware of that, right? And I also feel like there might be a bit of a flighty sense to you, especially when you first meet somebody. It's kind of like you're maybe slightly hard to get a hold of, maybe slightly hard to like become friends with at first, but it's because you're more mysterious, a little bit more flighty. It's like you really only give a lot of time to the people who are really close to you and already have that deeper connection. You're not just going to open up to somebody right away when you first meet them. And people notice that about you. They notice that you tend to have more of that crow energy right when they first get introduced to you or right when they first see you. Which the crow energy, it's a bit more flighty, it's a bit more mysterious, it's hard to get a hold of, it's hard to have a super long conversation with, because again, it's a bit more shy and it's just sort of a bit more flighty. But oh my goodness, when people get to know you, so people's impression of you after they get to know you is you have a very strong energy, a very powerful energy. It's very loyal. It's very committed, very intuitive, such a great listener, so friendly. Elephants have, they're the archetype of the very extremely friendly, extremely good listener, somebody who's going to be there for you no matter what, somebody who's going to be there for you even during your darkest times and is always going to make you feel better. Elephants are also a symbol of good luck. And so people, like your close friends that you have around you, they see you as somebody who, like, they can always call upon. They can always feel better when they're around you. You just exude this friendly laughter, this good luck type of energy. You're also very optimistic. When people first meet you, they might assume that you're more of a pessimist or that you're more like flighty or shy, but it's like you're actually the biggest, friendliest, super optimistic person who has such depth. Such depth. Crow and elephant are both super, they have a depth to them. It's very, very deep. You also enjoy deep conversations. You enjoy deep things. I feel like you're somebody who, if somebody wants to talk to you about small talk, you're like, oh my God, this is not it. Like, you're not entertained by small talk. I also feel like you're not entertained by gossip very much. You like to talk about nice things, genuine things, things that feel good. That's what you're all about. I feel like you've had some experiences in your past that were not so good, that might make you more shy or might make you not trust people right away when you first meet them. And so you really only tend to trust people that you've known for a long time. But that's just a quality about you. And again, when people first meet you, they sense that type of like don't talk to me, or like bit more shy, bit more mysterious, bit more, you know, if you're at a party, you're definitely not the center of attention. You don't like to be the center of attention. You're more of that type of person that's like, might awkwardly be standing in a corner unless you know a lot of people at the party. If you know a lot of people at the party and you're comfortable with them, oh my goodness, you are down to just laugh, have a good time, be the light of the room. But if you're at a party where you don't know like 98% of the people there, you're kind of just like more of the wallflower type of person. So yeah, then we have these two cards. We also have Dreamweaver and Circle. You are incredibly deep. You are an incredible visionary. The Dreamweaver is someone who is able to think about things, or even has like really big dreams in their life, big goals. You're like such a good visionary about what it is that you desire or what it is that you want. And I also see that you're really good with encouragement, and you're good at encouraging other people to go after their dreams. And that's one thing that your friends really appreciate about you, is you're really good at encouraging them to go towards their dreams. And your friends and the people that are close to you really appreciate that about you. Also with Circle, collaborate, assemble, hold, initiate. You have your close circle of friends, and I feel like you don't need a lot of friends. You're so good with the tight circle that you have, because you would rather have a few really deep, really close friends rather than just knowing everybody and all of them being surface level friendships. I feel like you're just not about that. You're about having that tight-knit circle, and people notice that about you as well. It's like you're not just gonna invite in every single person. You're also very friendly. I do feel like you are very friendly when you do meet people, because you're very empathic, and you can feel people's emotions and things like that. I feel like you're a very nice person if people do talk to you. However, are you going to be friends with every single person? You're very friendly, but I feel like you only really count people as a friend once it's deep, once you really know them, once you feel like you could call them on the phone and like ask them to hang out at any point, like those are your friends, the people that you get deep with. So that's something that I'm seeing as well. People find you quiet as well. When they first meet you, you have this quietness about you. Even as people like really get to know you deeply, you tend to not be somebody who's just the talker of the group. You tend to be somebody who's a bit more of the listener. And then if a subject comes up that you have a lot to say about, that's when you say something. But you're not just going to say something for the sake of saying something. You're okay with being quiet. You're okay with having the silence, especially when you don't have much to say in that moment, or, that. So that's what we get there. Then we also have the Page of Wands coming through. You love to laugh. And once people get to know you, they see that type of laughter, and they really enjoy that. You enjoy friendships that are giggly, that are silly, and the people that get to know you, like your close friendships, see you as like this silly, fun, goofy person. But when people haven't known you yet, they almost see you as like mysterious and standoffish, which is not like you at all, right? That's like the almost wrong impression. When people get to know you, it's like you're very fun, very silly, you're adventurous, you're just a fun person to be around. You can also be spontaneous as well. We also have 9 of Pentacles being reversed. I feel like you also don't value the same things as other people value. And they notice that. It's like you don't need to be the fanciest person in the room. You don't need to flaunt or brag about your achievements. It's like that's something that you actually don't really put a lot of emphasis on. Whereas you might notice that other people might put a lot of emphasis on success and status and things like that, and the material stuff. I feel like you're somebody who doesn't put a lot of emphasis on that, and people notice that about you, especially as they get to know you. It's like, wow, you don't need to have friends that have achieved super high success. It's like, you don't care about that. You're down to be friends with somebody as long as they just understand you, they make you laugh, you can have fun with them, you can be spontaneous with them. You like friends like that. You're not looking for, oh, I'm only going to be friends if they have this type of career, if they make this much money, if they've achieved this, like, or if they wear the same type of clothes. Like, you don't care. You don't judge people based off that. And that's something that people really appreciate about you. It's such a breath of fresh air, and people feel comfortable around you. As they get to know you, they feel so comfortable around you because, again, you don't care about that stuff. That stuff, like, it's just not in your value system, whereas it is in some people's value system, right? And then we also have 9 of Swords coming through. So 9 of Swords talks about somebody who might deal with some anxiety or some overthinking. And I feel like you do have that a little bit, but you might be a little bit more quiet about it, unless you really know somebody. And that's where you feel like you can open up and be vulnerable and be deep. And you like the deep conversations. You like that. People also, I feel like you're very comforting because you understand people who've also struggled with anxiety or struggle with going through difficult times. Like, you're very understanding about that. And people love to come to you for comfort and for support during those times. Your friends see you as that support system and see that you're also somebody who's willing to take the time to listen to somebody if they need to vent, and they really appreciate that about you. They appreciate that you're somebody who's totally there to help them through that. We also have 5 of Wands. You're very accepting of people from different backgrounds or from different value systems, from different other things. Like, you're really accepting of others, and people also see that about you, and they very much appreciate that. We also have the Chariot being reversed. I also feel like you're quite different and quite unique. So you're also like, I feel like you have this ability to maybe like talk to anybody, to accept anybody, to have compassion for anybody. But at the same time, you do have a very particular set of values. And I do feel like you don't really get along with people who value very different things than you. You're incredibly accepting, like, hopefully this is making sense. You're an incredibly accepting person and you understand like, oh, everyone has these different values, everyone's slightly different. And I feel like there's this essence about you that just has compassion for people. But at the same time, it's like, I don't feel like you're ready to get best friends with somebody who's very extremely on the opposite end of the spectrum than you. But at the same time, you have this like friendliness about you and this understandingness about you at that same time. So hopefully that's making sense, right? Because I feel like you're very selective of your friends, which is why you have that smaller circle. You're very selective of your friends, but at the same time, you do have compassion for everybody. You do like, you like to accept people, but at the same time, I don't think you want to be best friends with somebody who's like, puts materialism at the top of their list. I don't think you really want to be best friends with that person because for you, it's not really like a high value. So hopefully that contrast is making sense there. So let's go ahead and dive into some more cards here. Let's see, what else do we have for you? We have the Take Risk card coming out. And then we also have the Creator. And then we also have, let's see, let's get one more card here. We also have the Revolutionary. Ooh, I feel like there's things that you really stand for, like certain causes I'm hearing that you stand for. You might stand for certain causes where you really want to help awaken other people to realize like, what's right or what's wrong in the world, because maybe there's certain things that you see that you're like the world needs to change. We need to have a revolution here. We need to have a shift here. And you might see that and you might really stand for those certain things and want to help people realize that maybe there's certain things that we need to change. Also with the Take Risk card, this one did come up reversed at first. And this makes me feel like there's certain things that you have big dreams, you have big desires, and you really want to take action towards them. But maybe you're also sometimes scared of taking big risks. There might be certain fears that come up when it comes to taking a really big risk in your life. And maybe you kind of really like to think about things deeply before you decide to fully take a risk. We also have the Creator, which makes me feel like you're extremely creative, which is what we had here with the Dreamweaver as well. You're incredibly creative. You enjoy creating things. You might really enjoy artsy stuff or visualizing your future or thinking about what you want to do or create in your life. I feel like you're very creative in that sense. And again, there's a lot that I feel like you want to change or do or stand for. But part of you might be scared of kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone sometimes or taking risks. That might be something that you're like, I don't know. And it might take you a bit longer. Not that you're never going to take risks or that you're never going to climb that mountain. I feel like it just takes you a bit longer to like fully think about it before you take those certain risks. Like, especially if it's a big risk, such as like changing your career or, stepping outside of your comfort zone in that way. But at the same time, you have this very fun, spontaneous energy when it comes to playfulness, when it comes to socialization with your really close friends and things like that. So let's get any last archetype cards here for you, my group threes. What else do we have? We have Temperance. So you like balance. You really enjoy balance. You enjoy moderation of things. Let's see what else we get. Why am I also hearing with the Temperance card that you might have grown up around people who might have had certain habits that were not very healthy. And because of that, you're very aware of the fact that you don't want to be like that. And it might have caused you to mature very quickly. but it also might be one of the reasons why you don't necessarily trust people right away, because you'd rather know them deeply first before you trust them. We also have the Tower card coming up. You're also very, once you make a decision, especially a decision to like cut something out of your life that's no longer working for you, it's like you really like let that go. You do not take any like BS in your life per se. Like once you make a decision to cut somebody out, it's like they're gone. Once you make a decision to end a certain thing in your life, you've thought it out so deeply that you're very sure of it. You are not somebody who really goes back on their word a lot. You're somebody who, once it's done, it's done. That's you. And I think it's because you flush out that idea so deeply prior to making the choice. You don't just like make a choice willy-nilly and you're like, oh, let me go take that risk. Oh, let me go try that today. No, you're very serious about your choices. And the Tower card indicates that you're very serious about your choices. I also feel like the Tower card indicates that you do come across a little bit intimidating to people when they first meet you. And I think it's because of that mysteriousness that you have and the fact that it takes you longer to open up. The fact that you have that quality does make people a little bit intimidated by you when they first meet you. But once they meet you, they're like, wait, you're like super nice. You are super friendly. You're like a really incredible person to be around. So that is what we have here for you, my group number 3s. Thank you so much for joining me here today for this video all about how other people see you, what they think about you. And I'm sending you so much love. And until next time, bye. All right, so my group number 4s, if you chose this pile, this is going to reveal exactly how other people see you and what they think about you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, my group 4s, we have the mouse and the zebra as your first 2 cards here. So when people first meet you or when they see you, the mouse card indicates this type of cuteness. It also indicates somebody who tends to be a little bit quiet and doesn't have like this massive, powerful, like presence when they walk into a room. You have a bit more of that quiet, cute energy where people do notice you, but you're also really good at being unnoticed, especially if you don't want to be noticed. You can be like quiet and a bit more mysterious in that sense. The mouse isn't like mysterious like the crow is. Like for example, we had crow in the last group, which tends to be very mysterious. You have this like cuteness where you're open and you're down to talk. Like once people get you talking, especially about something that you're interested in, you can talk quite a bit and you're open. But the mouse is somebody who's just quiet at first, and maybe you wait until people show interest before you necessarily go out and start like blabbing on about something. You sort of wait for people to show interest, or you wait for other people to kind of come to you first. And the mouse indicates somebody who, is a bit more quiet and isn't like gonna just go around and start being the loudest person in the room. The mouse is definitely a bit more quiet in that sense, but they're very cute. People still notice them, and they also, the mouse, when people meet you, they see you as somebody who's friendly and cute and really kind and nice. The zebra card also indicates somebody who's really kind and nice, but the issue when it comes to mouse and zebra is that both of them don't really put up a lot of boundaries, and they might tend to be a bit of a people pleaser. So that's also something where people, they don't really know where your boundaries are. They see you as somebody who's really cute and really kind, but at times that might also attract people who overstep boundaries because maybe we're really quiet with them and we tend to be really nice, and maybe we're not very direct when we talk about things, especially when we talk about things that we're like, no, don't do that, or don't do this, or blah, 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 blah. We might not be very direct with those things. We might kind of beat around the bush with them because we don't want to hurt other people, or we don't want to disappoint other people. So we tend to kind of be a little bit more aloof when we need things, or when we want things, or when we require certain things, or when we're laying down boundaries. Like we might be like, oh, well, I don't really like it when people do that. And maybe we're hoping that they're going to get the hint, like, stop doing that. But then they don't, because we're not being direct. We're not just saying outright, stop doing that. that I don't put up with that. That's not it. Like that you, I feel like that would make you uncomfortable. Or for example, if you've ever needed to like cancel a plan or say no to something on a text message, I also feel like you're the person who maybe overthinks it a little bit and is like, is this coming across mean? How do I say this? Oh my God. Oh no. What do I say? How do I cancel this? It's like, you might be so super kind that you don't know how to be direct. And that's something that people notice with you, is that you don't have those very clear boundaries and you don't really have like a directness. And so sometimes I feel like it can be confusing for people because they're like, wait, just say yes or no. Like the zebra, for example, let's say that the colors, like the stripes, they represent yes or no. It's like, it indicates black or white. It's yes or no. You are wearing both colors. You're kind of like, maybe. Like somebody's like, oh my God, you should totally come here. And maybe in your mind you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to, but you're like, oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll think about it. Cause like maybe we just have a hard time being direct. We have a hard time saying one thing or picking one thing. And that's kind of coming through here, is people do notice that about you. So yeah, anyway, we also have the card of advocate, and then we also have the card of strategist. So you are incredibly intelligent. You are so incredibly smart. Okay. And you might even tend to overthink things sometimes, especially when it comes to, you know, how to be direct without being too direct, if you know what I mean. Because again, I feel like you do have that very niceness about you. You always want things to come across nicely. Something that you're learning in life, however, is how to be more direct, how to lay down the law, how to uphold what you want, and how to have balance. You're also somebody who really likes balance. Zebra and advocate, both are energies that like balance. You want to be compassionate. You want things to be fair. You are really good at making things fair. And you're also very aware when somebody does something for you, you remember that. And you always are thinking, okay, how can I repay them? Or how can I do this? Or how can I do that? But I also feel like there might be times where you might get taken advantage of because you might assume that other people have this quality as well. And you might do something out of the kindness of your heart. And maybe you're thinking, okay, well, they're going to get me back one day. But maybe they don't, because maybe we didn't make it clear that we expect that. So that's something that's coming through, and Spirit just wants you to know that and be aware of that. And I feel like that's also something that you might be already noticing in your life, is like, hey, I kind of need to learn how to be a bit more direct and direct with my words. And instead of being the strategist that's like, how can I sort of lay down the hint without being too direct, or like, you know, less of the strategy, more of just, let's be direct, let's be honest, because it's going to solve a lot of things for us. But yes, people do see you as this like cute, like just very friendly and very like, people like to be your friend. That's one thing that's really coming through. People really like to be your friend. You are a very fair friend. You're very like balanced. You're such a balanced, fun person to be around. People find it really easy to talk to you, really easy to talk to you. And they really enjoy the fact that you're also a good listener. They love that about you. But you also tend to be somebody who, you might like be really fast paced sometimes. And people might say that you're a fast talker. Like when you do talk, you're quite fast at speaking. And you might also be such a deep thinker where you're a very fast thinker as well, which is another really fun and interesting quality about you. That's also very rare, because some people, they tend to be like slow. You're very quick. You're very, you're also quick with like decisions, doing things, very quick with getting stuff done. And people really appreciate that about you. And you're very intelligent when it comes to pretty much anything in life. You're a very smart person, and people always like to hear what you have to say. We also have 3 of Wands coming through. You're adventurous. You are adventurous, and people see that about you. They see that you are open to lots of different things in life. You are not a closed off person. You're open to new ideas. You're open to new adventures, new things. You like adventure. And people notice that about you as well. We also have Knight of Swords being reversed, which also indicates that there's this non-directness about you. And it might make people a little bit confused sometimes. And maybe at times it leads people on, or maybe at times it puts you in a pickle with somebody because we're not direct. I also think that you tend to be quiet when it comes to your negative things. You tend to be a little bit quiet, especially if like a friend does something that you don't like. You hold it within rather than saying it. Because the mouse, it tends to be a bit shy and it tends to be quiet. So something that's coming through is your friends get confused, especially if you ghost them, if you scurry away, if you don't talk to them for a while. They're like, why? And in your head, you're like, oh, I know exactly why. It's because they did this, and hopefully they'll see that. But without communicating it, sometimes it's hard for people to see, right? So people do notice that there's a lack of communication, kind of maybe when it comes to things that you don't like. And it leaves things a little bit confused sometimes. So that's coming through. But we also have the Six of Pentacles being reversed. One thing that they notice about you is you really like to balance things out. If you notice that someone, again, has done something for you, you really like balance. And people appreciate that about you so much. You're an advocate for balance. You like to repay what other people have done for you, vice versa. So that's something that is also coming through. And then we also have the King of Swords and then the Ace of Wands here. King of Swords is incredibly intelligent. He's also the strategist. They also tend to be a little bit more logical. So that could also be an aspect of you, is like you have a very logical side. Maybe you're really interested in science. Maybe you're really interested in like all those types of like discovery shows or other things that are like, ooh, new science that just came out. Like you might be interested in those things. Also, this card would indicate somebody who just thinks a lot. If you ever have an issue or a problem, it's like you will find the solution. You're like determined to find solutions. You're determined to think about them. I'm also getting this feeling like if something happens in your life, if you run into a certain scenario or something with your friend, you will like overthink and replay the scenario in your mind until you like figure it out, or until you reach a solution, or until you find what you're looking for. It's like you tend to kind of really think about things very deeply in that way. And then the Ace of Wands also indicates a very fun energy. People really like your fun side. And I also feel like you might take a little bit of time to open up that fun side, especially when you first meet someone. But when you do open up in that way, they're like, wait, where was that hiding? That's so fun. Like you're a very fun person to hang around, and people really enjoy laughing with you, and they also really enjoy your humor. So the people that you have in your life, like your friends that really understand you and that understand your type of humor, they find you really funny. And I also feel like you're the type of person who creates like a very unique sense of humor, especially when you get to know somebody really well. So for example, like having inside jokes or other things like that other people wouldn't understand who are on the outside of it. You are really good at creating those really like deep connections with people through those inside jokes or other things that, again, other people wouldn't necessarily understand. But it makes it very special. So the friends that you do have, they feel very special to have you because they feel that special connection with you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into some more cards for you and get some more information all about what other people think about you. So we also have versatility, and look at that. We have the mice on this card. So you're a very easygoing person. You're very versatile. People could throw you into almost any situation and you will figure it out. You will be versatile. You'll make it work for you. So for example, if you've never gone to stay at a hostel before and your friend's like, oh, hey, we're going to go do this. You'd be like, okay, I can adapt to that. I can figure it out. Or if somebody's like, oh, hey, try this totally new meal or this new hobby or this new other thing. You're so versatile. And I feel like you're also very open to new things, which people love about you. It's such a rare thing because there's a lot of people who get stuck in their ways and they're like not open to trying new things. I feel like you're such a versatile, open person that you're always down to try new things. And your friends love that quality about you. That's probably one of their top favorite qualities about you, is how versatile you are, how open you are to new things, to trying new stuff. And the Ace of Wands also says that too. It's like this new ideas, new fun things that maybe we haven't tried before. We also have speak truth. People also like the fact that you're going to be honest with them once they really get to know you. However, I do feel like people wish that you were more direct. You are honest, but I feel like you tend to kind of maybe beat around the bush sometimes because you still want to come across nice. You might not do that with the people who are really close to you because you might feel comfortable enough with them to be more direct and open. But being direct and open more broadly and with other people, I feel like is going to really like help so much of people figuring you out, people knowing exactly what it is that you want and need, where your boundaries are, and all of that. So let's go ahead and get one more. Boundaries is coming up. Wow. Okay, so I feel like you're at this point in your life where you are starting to kind of see this, and you are starting to kind of like realize that it's going to be healthier and better to have boundaries, to be really open and honest. I feel like you're sort of realizing that now. And then you won't have to like protect yourself as much, because once we lay down the boundaries, once we are more direct, like then we don't really run into other scenarios where we're fearing like if other people are misunderstanding us or getting the hint. So I feel like you are developing more into that. And I feel like that's something that's going to help you so much in your life. So let's go ahead and see any last cards that we get. These last cards are all major arcana cards, and we're going to get some archetype cards to come out for you to get any last information on how people see you and how you come across, their perception. Let's see. So we also have the Empress coming through. People see you as a very high value person, somebody who they want to keep in their life for a long time. They see you as very kind, very caring, and very nurturing. The Empress is very nurturing and very caring. And you really care about people's feelings, which is probably why you have a harder time maybe being direct with people, because you really care about their feelings. You want them to feel okay. You want them to feel good. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. And sometimes when we're direct with people, it will end up hurting people's feelings. But you are very intuitive, which is maybe why you are that way, is because you can almost feel people's pain a little bit. And so you don't want to hurt them, because it also kind of hurts you to ever hurt people or to ever disappoint people. But I think it's going to come really in handy to be more direct, to have clear boundaries. It's going to help you so much. But yeah, you have this very feminine, nurturing side of you. People love how caring you are, how empathic you are, how deep you are. They love the depth that you have. You're also such a nice, kind person. Like when I'm looking at these cards, there's a very magical energy about you. It's very magical. It's, yes, you might be quiet, right? But you have this magic about you. And I also feel like people are very drawn to you. Your appearance. People are really drawn to your appearance. You have this rosiness about you. Also this youth about you that people are very drawn to. They're very drawn to it. I also think like a lot of people look at you and they're like, wow, that's like a really beautiful person. Very beautiful. And they also find your personality incredibly beautiful. So that's coming through there. So that's what we have here for you, my beautiful, beautiful group number 4s. We're on group number 4, right? Wow. This reading has gone by very quickly. So thank you so much for joining me here for this reading. This is how people see you. This is how they perceive you. Oh, I'm also getting another message in this card. People really, like, you have a type of essence and a type of aura that people feel so comforted by you. They feel very comforted. They love being in your presence. And you might notice that people come to you a lot talking about like what they're going through, because they know that they're going to get that comfort from you. They know that you're going to be nurturing and that you tend to people's needs, and you can almost read people's needs. Like immediately, like if somebody comes to you with a problem and maybe they're going through a hard time, you're able to so read what it is that they need, even if they don't know what they need at the time. You're really good at reading that and then just being there, being like, oh my God, let me make you a cup of tea. Let me do this for you. Let me do that for you. Like, you're so good at nurturing people and making them feel comfortable and giving them what they need. So anyway, that's the last message coming through there for you, my beautiful group number 4s. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I'm sending you so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group number 5s, let's go ahead and find out exactly how other people see you and what they think about you. Let's dive in. All right, my group 5s, first off, you're a very entertaining person to talk to. People really enjoy talking to you because you're somebody who probably has a lot to say a lot of the times, and you really know how to hold conversation. I'm feeling like you might be a little bit more extroverted, and again, you just really enjoy talking. You have a lot to say, and people enjoy that about you. The Stingray card coming up, Stingrays for one are very friendly, but at the same time, they can punch a sting if need be. So one thing about you is you are somebody who is not to be walked over, not to be messed with. The Stingray also indicates that you know how to be honest. And at times you can be very honest, very brutally honest, and you don't hold back if you have something very clear to say, right? So one thing that people get, their first impression of you is like, okay, this person, they're going to be honest. They know how to talk. They're very open with their words, with what they're thinking. And I also feel like you're somebody who you don't need to overthink before saying something. You're somebody who you're very comfortable in your own skin to where you're like, oh, like I'll tell you exactly what I think. I'll tell you exactly what I feel, because you have, like, you're very fleshed out when it comes to conversation, when it comes to speaking what's on your mind. And yeah, it's like you're okay having hard conversations as well. You do not avoid hard conversations. You're like, oh, I can have a hard conversation. That's totally fine. That's totally within your comfort, and you're great at that. I also think when people meet you, they very much admire your voice and how you use it. And the fact that you're so like open with using your voice. People really like admire that within you, because I feel like it's a rare quality to be that like fluent and open with your voice and being able to say what's on your mind. You know, it's something that is admired. So I feel like people really admire that within you. I also feel like with Nightingale coming up, you have a very unique type of voice that people love. People love your voice. And I feel like it's also a defining feature about you. And you might also get compliments at times about people complimenting your voice. And even if you haven't received that compliment before, people think about your voice. You have a very memorable voice, and it's something that, for example, like if somebody ever met you without ever seeing you before, but let's say that they just heard your voice, they'd be like, well, that's a very captivating voice. I want to hear more. And I also feel like you're very engaging. Like, one of the most engaging things about you is how you talk and how you're able to be so fluid and so like fluid in your conversations. Like, your conversation is very engaging for people to listen to because you have a lot to say and you're not afraid to say it, and you can just go off on a topic. You can go off about it, and people are like enamored by that, and you really captivate people's attention with how you speak. It's one of your main qualities, and it's one of the first things that people notice about you is that. But yeah, Stingray, you're also very direct. You're not afraid to be direct, and that's also a great quality about you. So our next two cards, we also have Oracle, and then we also have the card of Messenger coming through, which is another card that indicates having a voice or having a message, having something to speak about. Oracle indicates that you have great advice. People like to ask you questions. They like to listen to what you have to say, and people really trust you because they know that you're being honest. You will notice that a lot of people trust and come to you when they really want straight advice. You know, sometimes we go to people when we just want comfort because maybe somebody's really good at giving comfort. When people come to you, it's because they want truth. They want honesty. They don't care if it's like negative or positive. They just want somebody who's going to be honest, and they know that that's what you're going to provide. So yes, that's when people like to come to you the most, is when they are seeking that honest opinion. They also really see you as somebody who's very strong. and somebody who has very fleshed out opinions, and they like that. They really enjoy that because they know that you're actually going to take your time to give an honest opinion and to say it how it is. And they like that. They come to you for the message. They come to you because they feel like you can guide them, and they also feel like you're going to announce and counsel. People come to you for counsel because they're like, hey, this is a no BS type of person. And you might even notice that people who know you really well, they might even at times call you up about another person's question and be like, oh, I have this friend who's going through this thing. What do you think about it? Because they know, like, you know, they might be telling that friend like, oh, I know this person who has great advice. They know how to say, they're going to be blunt. Let me go ask them what they think, you know? And so you might just be that person who a lot of people come to and a lot of people gravitate towards for those different reasons, okay? We also have the card of the Devil. This one coming up, I feel like sometimes people feel a little bit intimidated. That's been a thing that's coming up a lot lately, is the word intimidated. But you might have this intimidating energy for some people because you, like, people cannot, like you're just gonna say what's on your mind. People can't just hold you back or tell you, hey, don't be you for a second. It's like, you're just gonna be you. You're just gonna be you. You don't like being held back. You don't like being tied down. You don't like being told that you can't be yourself. You're the type of person who, you're just gonna be yourself. You do not like people holding you back. You do not like being around people who try to suppress who you are or try to oppress who you are. You're not about that at all. And I also feel like you see in other people when they are being oppressed or when they're holding themselves back, you're very good at seeing that. You're very good at seeing the people pleasers in the room or the people who have not come out of their shell. You can see that right away. And I also feel like you're somebody who really likes telling people like, hey, it's okay to be yourself. It's a good thing to be yourself. And I feel like you inspire that a lot in other people. You inspire people to break their chains and to become more free. I think freedom is a really big thing for you, and it always has been a big thing for you to express yourself how you want to express yourself. The Nightingale is all about expression. You are such an expressive person. And if somebody ever tried to stop that expression, it's like you're just not. That's like when that's when the stingray comes out. It's like, no, I'm not going to be oppressed. I'm not going to be told what to do. You don't like that. You like being your own leader. And you also enjoy empowering other people to be a leader as well. You don't like seeing people being oppressed. You don't like seeing people feeling like they're chained and like they're not allowed to be themselves. You don't like that at all. You are the leader that really enjoys awakening people to their truest potentials, to who they truly are, telling people that it's okay to be who they are. And then we have Justice. You enjoy freeing people. People feel more free when they're around you because you're so comfortable being yourself and you're so free already that when people are around you, they're like, oh, I almost get inspired to be myself because I feel like I can be myself around you. People really feel like they can be themselves around you. They don't need to play games. They don't need to hide their true opinions because you almost empower people to also be themselves. Some people are intimidated by that though, and some people will hold themselves back, but I feel like you're able to see that very clearly when somebody is like holding themselves back around you. So our next card that we have, whoops, I'm getting caught on the camera. We have Queen of Cups being reversed. We also have the Tower being reversed. We also have the Wheel of Fortune being reversed. And then the Moon being reversed. You don't let fears hold you back in your life. At least you don't anymore. Maybe you did before, but you're at a point in your life where you're like, you no longer want to be held back by fears. You no longer want to be held back by emotions or other things. It's like you really want to move forward. I feel like you're a very forward-thinking person and you like the feelings of freedom again. Tower being reversed, you're totally okay saying things how they are. You're not afraid of something not working out because of honesty. You'd rather be honest and then you just rather things be honest and things be direct. You're not somebody to beat around the bush out of a fear of ruining something, for example. But we also have this Wheel of Fortune being reversed. So I feel like you've been through a lot in your life and people see that. And I feel like you're also very open about that and you're okay talking about that. You're okay talking about like, hey, I've been through this and I've had to go through this and I've had this experience. Like, I feel like you're very open and you might be more open than most people tend to be. And that's something that people notice right away when they meet you, is like you're much more open than most people are when you first meet somebody. Some people might find that it's a lot. Like, you might be a lot when people first meet you because you're just so open. You're so there. You're so just like, here I am. Here's what I've been through. Here's this, here's that. And for some people that might be a lot, but for other people it's like, oh my God, this is such a breath of fresh air. Like, oh my God, it's so nice being around somebody who's so open in that way and who's so ready to just talk about deep stuff and doesn't have all of these like inhibitions and closed doors that you need to try to tear down. I feel like you're just very open and you don't like having doors in your life and all of that. So, oh, not these cards yet, sorry. Let's go into these cards to get some more information for you here, all about how other people see you and what they think about you. Sometimes you can come across with a slight lack of emotion or a slight lack of empathy because I feel like you are so direct. So it's at times people find you that you lack like some emotion sometimes. Like, you can come across slightly cold at times because you're so just like here's what's on my mind, here's what I think about it. You're so direct with that, which is a good thing. But yes, at times people do see it in that sense. We also have sacred sexuality, which can indicate that you're very creative and also people are very attracted to your openness. And I also feel like you're somebody who puts effort into the way that you look and you have this appearance where people are very drawn to you and very attracted to your leadership, to your voice, to your openness. Okay, let's see what else we get here. Ooh, this card's wanting to come out. We also have the Warrior. This one makes so much sense for you. So another way that people see you is just very powerful and very strong. People see you as a strong person. They do not see you as a weak person. And they know that you're a very powerful, sort of more warrior-esque type of person. You have that warrior energy about you where there's that sense of power. Let's see what else we get here. My group fives. We also have the Sage. And then we also have Reflect. You make people think. You make people think very deeply. And it might also be because you're a very deep thinker as well. But I think people even think about their conversations with you long after they've had that conversation. They might really reflect on the different things that you say or all of that. And I also feel like you are big at reflecting as well. The Sage indicates that I really feel like you make people feel more confident. You don't like when people feel all these insecurities. And one thing that people love about you is that you help them see that they don't need to hold on to their insecurities. I feel like you've worked through so many of your own and you've healed so many of your own insecurities that when people come to you and they're just like, oh my God, what if they judge the way I look? Or what if they judge this opinion? Like, you're so good at being like, no, who cares? Like, you might as well just be honest and be open so that you can find out who you resonate with versus who you don't resonate with, right? Like, you're just so aware of those things and you're so okay with, certain things not working out. You're so okay with people not liking you because you realize like, hey, I'd rather be myself and, gain friendships where I know people like me for me because I'm being myself, right? Like, you're like that. You don't care if people don't like you. You don't care if people don't agree with you on something because you're so okay with being yourself. And I feel like people so admire that within you and they want to be like that. And they love being around you because you empower them in those ways. So that is coming through as well. Let's see any last archetype cards that we get. These are all major arcana tarot cards, and it's just going to tell us a little bit more about the different archetypes that people see you as. So we have the Fool coming through. People see you as a very free spirit, very free spirit. You don't You don't have a lot of attachments. You're not attached to like getting people to like you or what people are going to think about you or all of that. You don't have those attachments like most people do. You're a very free person, and people they feel that freedom within you. Sorry, they don't fear you. They feel that freedom within you. Let's see what else we have here. We also have the Hierophant. People come to you for advice. They see you as somebody to really look up to, especially when they want that clear wisdom. They also see you as a very wise person, very wise, especially wise for your age. I feel like you're more like well thought out and intelligent than most people your age. And they come to you for wisdom. They see you as somebody who can be a teacher, who can be a leader. And they also see you as somebody who's very free, very, very free. And you're only going to say yes to the things that you actually want to say yes to, and just very open, very honest with your communication. So that is how other people see you and perceive you, my beautiful group number 5s. Thank you so much for joining me here today for this video. I'm sending you all so much love, and until next time, bye.